Greetings, my fellow fans of the Fate series. It's been a while, but I have returned with yet another battle between myth and, well, anime versions of those myths. This time it's the golden douchebag himself. Here's an accurate representation of the world through his glorious eyes.
Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
Now that you're all familiar with the star of this episode, on to the introductions. Archer is renowned to be one of the most stupidly overpowered characters in anime history, and rightfully so. His power level is almost unmatched by any other servant throughout the entire Fate series. The only thing that easily surpasses it would be his ego. Archer doesn't only know how powerful he is, he never fails to remind everyone of his status, getting offended at people simply looking up to him. While being a douchebag should make him hard to like, there is a rather odd charm to him. While his power level is unparalleled, he usually gives his opponents a chance to show what they've got. And while that is technically the same as toying with them, it's still something. His reason for attaining the Holy Grail is rather unique as well, as Archer simply considers it a treasure and thus can only be given to someone by his permission. Other notable characteristics would include his relationship with Saber. On one hand, he disagrees severely with her way of being a king, and on the other he clearly wants to have her as a wife. Speaking of kingship, Archer has an interesting view on the people of the modern world, seeing them as lazy weaklings who must be massacred for their incompetence, and considers them unworthy of his rule. Yeah, self-centered would be an understatement when describing this guy. Gilgamesh is a mythical demigod king who lived in Babylonia, what is modern-day Iraq. Much like Arthur, it's rather hard to tell myth from fact, as there isn't much scripture about him save but the Epic of Gilgamesh. Despite that though, unlike Arthur, most historians do agree he existed, apparently because some blocks of paper said he did or something. The Epic of Gilgamesh is considered to be the oldest piece of literature in known history, and in it, Gilgamesh is an interesting character that starts as a self-centered king, but changes when he meets his soon-to-be friend, Enkidu. More on that later, let's officially move to the backstory. When I first wanted to write this part down, I considered actually telling Gilgamesh's story, considering how somewhat unknown he is to most people these days. But I can't really seem to fit his considerably long epic into a few minutes in this video, so screw that. If you don't know much about the Epic of Gilgamesh, I recommend you watch this short animation. With that cleared up, on to the actual comparison. We don't get to see much of Gilgamesh's past from Fate's Stay Night. In the credits roll of Fate Zero, we see him in a position similar to this painting of Gilgamesh. In Phase Zero, Ryder asks Archer to ally with him. Archer refuses, saying, "My ally shall forever only be one." This is a reference to Gilgamesh's one and only friend, Enkidu. Said to be the only man that could challenge the King of Heroes, he challenges Gilgamesh to a duel. Despite Enkidu's loss, Gilgamesh is impressed by his strength, and they become best friends and go on adventures and all that shonen stuff. It was actually Enkidu's death that made Gil want to seek immortality, so they definitely had quite a strong friendship. In fact, during their fight, Gilgamesh adopted the bad habit of using his own treasury as projectiles, throwing them at Enkidu. This is clearly where Gilgamesh's noble phantasm, Gate of Babylon, comes from. The golden chains Archer uses to bind people to better target them with his arsenal of weapons is directly based off Gilgamesh's old friend Enkidu, as it's actually named after him. Enkidu was originally created to kill Gilgamesh, and the chains have a similar anti-god nature, as they're stronger against divine beings such as Hercules, or Hercules, how do you pick up that? Who cares? Gilgamesh originally used these chains to keep the Bull of Heaven, Gugalana, in place so that he and Enkidu can kill it. The black sword-like weapon, named simply Ea, that Archer occasionally uses to kill everything in existence is a little baseless, as in old Gil had no weapon like that. I guess there's little connection between the Epic of Gilgamesh mentioning a great flood that killed most things in existence, and Archer having a sword with the power to destroy everything in existence, but that's it. I can't seem to find any contradictions with Archer's character and that of Gilgamesh. Arrogance, check. Brutality, check. There is the fact that Gilgamesh originally searched for immortality before realizing that the greatest form of immortality for mortals is to have legends sang about them all day, while Archer doesn't seem very interested in that, despite kinda gaining another life after Fate Zero. We're back to where the folks at Typemoon excel most. Yay! I mean, just look at the similarities. No one would ever doubt they're the same person. Am I right, guys? Sarcasm aside, considering how old the Epic of Gilgamesh is, I doubt armor like that even existed back then. Gilgamesh is always portrayed as a buff guy with a massive beard, so yeah. Not much of that here. Well, I guess their decision to make him 90% gold is somewhat fitting, considering Gilgamesh's obsession with collecting every treasure in the world. That's about it. Everything else in Gilgamesh's design seems out of place, be it the color of his hair, eyes, or even skin, his thin stature, or those earrings. After taking all things into account, I give little old Gil a 3 out of 5 for backstory, 4 out of 5 for powers, 5 out of 5 for personality, and 1 out of 5 for appearance. So he's left with a meager 6.5 out of 10 and a recommendation to look up a lot about him. While there isn't anything except for Archer's appearance that really contradicts the original Gilgamesh, there's little to nothing about Gilgamesh's epic in the entire Fate series. And considering how rather unknown the dude is, all the more reason to read more about him. His epic is particularly interesting, so go give it a read. I have a few things to announce, so stick with me for a bit. First off, I'm sorry for not uploading anything in like half a year. I'm a lot lazier than I thought I'd be. Regarding Fate history, I'm afraid I'm not sure if I'll be doing another episode. On one hand, it does take a lot of time and effort to put these things together, from rewatching and rereading Fate stuff to researching books and what have you. And on the other hand, the target audience is a little too specific. Only those who have watched and read every single Fate thingy and have a reasonable interest in history can really enjoy this. So I'll be putting Fate history on hold for now. Do note that I might return to it in the future, but I won't be doing another episode anytime soon. But stay tuned, as I'm going to be having a little, shall we say, experimental phase with the channel. In the following months, I'll try to upload new kinds of videos, and I'll see what I would prefer to do and do what you, the viewers, want to see more of. Be sure to comment when I upload them. You can look forward to more traditional YouTube stuff, such as reviews, top 5 lists, and welcome tos. And that's that. Looking forward to seeing their responses, and I almost forgot. May your swords stay sharp.